Hey, come on. Yo, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Power Plays Palace, man. And it's Friday. Another week has come to an end. Oh, man. What a thing this market, this mischief in the economics and political stuff is causing to the markets. So let's look at what we had yesterday. Um, so we had the gap. If it reclaimed the long 663 up 6305, entry at 6320, 6380, 66380. Uh, without stop below 66180. Target 661, 664, 667. Safe to say we didn't reach those heights yesterday. The market was definitely not moving in that direction for a lot of the day. Um, but on the put side, you're looking at an entry between 662.40 and 663.05. If it's a rejection in that area rather, with our entry at 662.40 with 663.20. With our stop above 664.40. Targets 660.50, 658.80, and 656.96. Now, pre-market again, news when news comes out, it can have an adverse impact on everything. And as you can see yesterday, as we were setting up doing the chart yesterday morning, we were here, and then at around 7:50, everything starts to go down. Brief pullback to 658, but then we stopped here at 653.03 where we opened at 656. We opened the market opened at 656.97, and then as it came down, it pushed up here. And it's funny that that's the pre-market high for today, but it pushed up to 659.85 before it rejected, and then we had a pullback, and then we had to come back now in the 655.89 area, and then we saw it kind of consolidate here because this is not a real big range, $2 range, so you could have got a good play from here um, all the way up to where it says it failed to retest, but it's a breakout on the other side, so you're waiting. And so that's one of the things this indicator does. It actually shows you, you have an alert that come up when the retesting was trying to break through. So let's see. We came up here and we tried to get through, and then we came back, but we retested this level at 656.46, and then at around 250, we had an almost $7 move. It's about 25 minutes. It went straight up, and then hit 663.18, and then it pulled back to 658.89, and then where it closed the day out right there at 659.96, almost 660. So that was an interesting ride right there. And so when you look at the chart, it played around in these areas. But what happened was SPY went, and if you look at the way it came down and when it got into it yesterday, it truly stayed in this range pretty much all day. 658 down to about 655. That range pretty much all day until about 250 when it broke out of that range and pushed all the way up into the 663 area. So you could have played it somewhat based off the chart, but you really had to be careful, with the levels and everything because it broke out of 660 early. It didn't even open in that area, and then it stayed below that area all day. So it stayed in the 658 to 656, well, a little bit 655. Stayed in this range pretty much all day until it broke out and pushed back up. And when it pushed back up, I think it's funny that it rejected right around the 663 area that we would be looking for if we wanted to get in for a would have been looking for it to come up and hold in this area. That's the area we'd have been looking at calls at. So it's interesting that it pretty much consolidated all day. Pretty much consolidated all day, and then around 2:50 going into power hour, it ran up, and then it ended the day there. And then so what we can do is let's look at today. Already you can see that after that run up yesterday and broke across the VWAP, which is this blue line, in the overnight pre-market, it gapped down. It gapped down from 661. What was this? 661.09 to 659.27 is about a $2 gap down, and it below the VWAP. And so what we were looking at is from there pushed all the way down to 653 area. Now it's starting to work its way back up, and you see the VWAP creeping into this area right now. That VWAP at 659.41. So you can see it heading back towards this VWAP, and if it's reclaimed this VWAP, that's a good thing. So let's look at the chart for today. If you're buying calls anyway. So if SPY can reclaim the 659, 89, 85 area, you enter around 660, 660 to 660, 60, and put your stop below 658.60 with your target 662.20, 662.97, and 664.80. And on the other side, if you get a rejection around 659.20, we got 659.85 in that area, and we'll look for an entry around 659.20 to 660, and put our stop above 661.20, with our targets being 657.40, 655.17, and 653.19. And that's all, one is the yesterday's low, and the other one is the pre-market low for today. And so what we'll be looking for is if we can reclaim and push back into this area, especially with the VWAP being in the close proximity, and reclaim that VWAP, it might goes up from there. That's how it happens a lot of times if it crosses the VWAP. But if it doesn't and it stays below this VWAP, then it probably, it usually does not push up when it's below the VWAP. If the VWAP holds it down, then it usually goes the other way and try to get some momentum for it can break through. And that's what we'll be looking at today. Now, this is not financial advice, but be careful and mindful of your levels, because you can see right now that the SPY pre-market, that's a pretty good range, really, from 659 to 653. That's a nice range, and as you can see right now, it's 832. So you can see right now, it came down here and made this low. Looked like it tried to test it again, but then it bounced off and pushed up, and now that is a pre-market high or low, that blue line from a previous day. So it's no surprise that it could be some reaction to that level, because that's a key level. And then we got the pre-market high up here at 659.85, and if it can push back into that area and break that VWAP, then it could possibly push up for everybody that's playing calls. But if you're on the put guy, you a bear, then you would like to see it come up, trap in some of these buyers, and then push down further. So by coming down and attacking those stop losses. But again, this ain't financial news, and that's your trade plan for today. Now, what you can do is come out there and be safe and play your levels, and you'll be fine. If you go out there and try to reinvent the wheel and do something spectacular, a lot of times that can be very costly. So, hey, it's Power Plays Palace. If you want to join us, come over to the group, Power Plays in Discord. If not, you like the videos, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know how we doing. But until Monday, we out.